Now, tonight, the police need your help to solve the murder of Caroline Osborne.
Caroline was 33 and running a successful small business near Leicester. It's now almost exactly a year since she was killed. What follows now is a reconstruction based on the evidence there is of Caroline's last hours. At 6 o'clock on the evening of Friday, July the 29th last year, Caroline Osborne had finished work and returned home to 107 Danvers Road off the Narborough Road in Leicester. This footbridge was part of her usual walk. But there are some aspects of Caroline's life and business which still puzzle the police. Another few minutes' walk, and Caroline would have passed St Mary's Mills Lock. She was a private sort of person. There were some men in her life who even her closest friends didn't know. Some the police haven't yet traced. At this point, Caroline could have taken one of two routes. But a later possible sighting seems to suggest she took this path towards the gas holder. Beyond this corner and from the other side of the canal, another witness caught a glimpse of someone, possibly Caroline, with a man running after her. That sighting was at 6:50 p.m, and if that was her, it was the last time she was seen alive. By 7:10, the black Labrador was seen heading home. The neighbours became concerned when they noticed the dog exhausted back at the shop without Caroline. One of them went to look for her on the meadows, but by 10:30 that evening, when there was still no sign of her, he telephoned the police. The following morning, the police search resumed, and it was then that the fate of Caroline Osborne was discovered. All night, the neighbour's white dog had been guarding her body. Caroline had been stabbed to death.
This is where Caroline lays. Her loving wife and daughter, Caroline Osborne, nee Smith, died 29th of July 1983, aged 33, and George Abram Smith died 1st of August 1996. Right. This is Caroline Osborne's grave. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing okay. I have picked one of the coldest days of the years to do this. But bear in mind where we are. Caroline Osborne's grave's there, and I'm gonna have a little chat with you and about Caroline. What a beautiful winter's morning it is. Now, Paul Bostock was the man that murdered Caroline. He was 16 years old at the time, but he was a whopping 6'5". And where we started this video, outside of Caroline's shop, that was a couple of streets away from where Paul Bostock's grandmother lived. And Paul Bostock lived with his grandmother. And then Paul Bostock moved just over in that direction, Beaumont Lees area of Leicester. Now, Caroline Osborne was 33 years old, and on that day, July day, in 1983, she just went for a walk with the dogs. She'd been to Kenya the year before, and she was emigrating there, moving there the year after. So in 1984, she had been doing flying lessons, and her mind would have been filled with dreams. The places that I'm dreaming of, do they dream only of me? It's a Tom Waits lyric this early in the morning. Oh. So bear in mind where we've walked. The Caroline's grave is just over there. Please keep that in mind. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've already filmed this. I filmed this in November, but I wasn't too happy with it, so I've come back to refilm a lot of it. Now, the Crimewatch I showed you at the start, that was the second ever episode of Crimewatch, so that paper mache thing, I don't know if that was just the rage in the early 80s. There isn't a Crimewatch for Amanda Weedon, just for Caroline Osborne, and I felt a little bit awkward, so I've decided to disrespect or anything, and so a lot of time on the Crimewatch for Caroline, and I'll talk and walk for the Amanda the site. Now, here we are. So the graveyard is still just over there. Now, Amanda Weedon was just 21 years old. She was moving in to her new house with her fiance the next day. Again, much like Caroline, the future was changing, making big plans for life. Life changes, both would have been full of excitement, and some animal ruined that for two people. Their minds would have been filled with dreams and excitement. Now, you look down here and you think, this is such a random place for Amanda to be. But at the bottom of this road, I don't know if you can hear the hum of traffic, is quite a busy main road. And she'd been dropped off by her fiance. They had been in Leicester city centre shopping, and here, these buildings over here, not that they are anymore, was a chest hospital in Leicester, like a specialist hospital, and just here was like nurses, like a halfway house for nurses, not a halfway house, is that the right word? But a property for nurses to sleep. And she was coming here, Lord knows if that's the gate. Can you even see that? I don't know if that's the gate, but quite likely. Looks like an old fence. But Amanda was coming up here, and Paul Bostock, this is why I've done this walk, he was at the cemetery visiting Caroline's grave. How creepy, how eerie, how horrible. And then murdered Amanda, 21-year-old Amanda, in a frenzy. Stabbed her 37 times and left her for dead just up here in Chancery House, about where this this old house down here. So peculiar. When I did the research for this, I didn't realise quite how close the cemetery to this location was. I really struggled with this location. I had to get a membership for a newspaper archive and read old articles. And this, I think this is Chancery Lane. Well, it is. And in the lead up to Amanda being murdered, there'd been lots of reports about this being a very seedy area with peeping toms, probably because there's a hospital just here. But this is where Amanda was found, just here in Chancery House. But it is still a hospice, and I don't want to snoop too much. Yeah, so two young women with really exciting plans for the future, taken out by one man. Paul Bostock was 18 when he murdered Amanda, and it was in 1985, it was April of 1985, so by 18 he'd murdered two people. Now, two beautiful women killed, and then unfortunately Paul Bostock was released from prison in the year 2020. Wow, I don't know how he was like only mid-50s when he got released. That's so much more life to live for somebody that's taken two. I don't know, I feel really uneasy about that. The families of both Caroline and Amanda fought against the release of Paul Bostock, and should it be down to the families? I mean, you've killed somebody's daughter, you've killed somebody's fiance, you've killed somebody's sister, somebody's best friend, and now 30 years later you're fighting to keep him in prison. So he's already destroyed a family's life, and then they've got to go through it all again. I can't see how that is fair or justice, but I don't know anything, do I? I'm just a random person making videos in the blistering cold. So it's very strange that Bostock lived where Caroline was killed and then moved just to this area. And the eeriest thing of it all was he was at the cemetery. He was visiting Caroline's grave. He walked here, killed Amanda in a frenzied attack. And the way he was caught was his nan said, I'm walking back to the cemetery, back to the car. His nan said, "Oh, Paul, this sounds like you, the police description. You should go and clear your name." The police weren't convinced by his interview and searched the Grand's house and found lots of paraphernalia from the occult and lots of kind of weapons and the such like. But the damning bit of evidence was the police found a diary, and if you didn't think this man could be any sicker, in the diary for July 28th, 1984, I'll put a picture up, he had circled 1 year anniversary, and it had been 1 year since the death of Caroline Osborne. Jesus. And now, yeah, Caroline and Amanda are no longer with us, and people have had to grieve that, and Paul is free. Paul Bostock even said at the time, "I am an animal who deserves to be locked away. If I suffer for 100 years, I will still deserve more." So him being released is even against his own wishes. So, justice. But that is the stories of Caroline Osborne and Amanda Weedon. We are back at the heart of the cemetery, big cemetery in Leicester. But I thank you so much for watching a horrible story. I only tend to be telling you horrible stories these days. I miss doing music videos. But anyway, I hope you're okay. Hope you had a good new year. Be a lot more videos this year. I only did 6 last year, so hopefully a lot more to come. So from Leicester Cemetery, I hope you have a great time, a great day, and I will see you hopefully in the next couple of weeks for another video. Yeah, take it easy guys.